Okay, here in Winterberg, we have our athlete of the week, Jonny Gustafson from USA, US of A. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, happy to be here. Happy to be doing the interview.
It's so fun doing these athlete of the weeks because we get to really get to know people outside of spandex. So really quick, tell us where you're from and what is your town about? How did you get here today?
Okay, that's a lot of questions.
Sorry, that was one. We'll start with.
No, I got this. Okay, where I'm from. Originally I'm from Messina, New York. It's a small little town at the very top of New York on the Canadian border. We got 10,000 people there, so a little bit of a smaller town. I lived there for 14 or 15 years, I would say, before I relocated to Lake Placid.
Very well known for luge athletes, I assume?
I mean, now, for sure, yeah. No, it's a kind of, I don't want to say standard North Country town, because I think it's one of the best ones. But
wait, what does that mean, standard North Country? So for anyone people are watching this from all over the world, so describe what that means.
How do I best describe the North Country? It's an eclectic place. There's a lot of different types of people around, a lot of farms, a little bit of that, a lot of open land, a lot of outside activities, a lot of hockey as well, which is always fun.
Okay, so hockey, are you almost Canadian? Because should you be competing for Canada?
I hear that a lot from my teammates. I was hoping I wouldn't hear that from you. No, I'm not Canadian. Okay. We're not almost Canadian. We're very much in New York, very much in USA.
In USA, do you have poutine in your hometown?
I do, yeah. Okay,
so we're a little bit of hybrid, which is okay. So it's a big hockey town. So how did you choose sliding instead of hockey?
Well, I did start with hockey. I played a lot of sports growing up. Hockey was probably my main one. And I guess, I just liked the ice. And so luge was an easy transition, go from ice on skates to ice on, sled on skates, kind of, when you think about it.
Big ice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, crushed ice in a drink or big ice?
Oh, crushed ice for sure.
I agree.
It just tastes better.
Okay, so if you weren't sliding, if luge wouldn't have swept you up into this whole world, what do you think you would be doing now?
Oh man, that's a tough one. It's a world of possibilities, if you will. Probably would have played hockey for a little longer than I did. I probably would have, I don't know, I always wanted to be an engineer. That was kind of the one thing that I wanted to do when I was growing up. But, fully transitioned to luge. That's something that still could be down the road. But I would say probably working some job right now. I don't know what.
Making incredible money. What kind of engineer, what kind of engineer?
Aerospace was something I was always interested in, but I have a lot of buddies who are engineers now, or somewhere in that realm, and so it's kind of fun to see what they're doing. It's similar to something that I maybe would have done.
So aerospace engineering to luge athlete. Okay, that's fun. If I knew more about engineering, I would ask you more about it because
if I knew more about engineering, I would tell you more about it. But
it's so fascinating. So do you think any of that, does that make you really intrigued by your sled? I feel like engineering and mechanics and building and creating, I feel like there's a big portion of that in sliding.
Yeah, there's a huge portion of that. I think the technical side of luge it's the biggest side. It's way more than the physical aspect. Maybe the mental aspect is probably the most, but technical is a close second. So just being able to see what you can do with the sled and make it go faster, it's a really cool concept. Okay,
so after this sport, you're going to become an engineer. You're going to make insane money. So let's say you strike your $1 million check. What would you do for $1 million if you had it?
Ooh.
It could be anything. You can be so creative with this.
It's I want to say the standard, pay off debts, give some to my friends and family. But besides all that goodwill stuff that I would do, probably get a house in the woods, put a little library in there, and just kind of chill, watch some movies, read some books, isolate a little bit. I'd probably have a big party, but yeah.
A library. Are you a big reader?
On and off. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. I go through stints where I'll read nonstop for a month and I won't touch a book for a year. So kind of back and forth.
Okay, so give us a book report on your favorite book.
Book report, okay.
Not a book report, but what's your favorite book?
Favorite book has got to be Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. It's a it's like a fantasy-esque fiction novel, or nonfiction. Yeah, nonfiction. semi-standard magic and world building and things like that. I love all that nerdy stuff, if you will. So,
okay. Yeah. Nerdy stuff is fun. Nerdy stuff is cool. So, okay. The question I always love asking people is, if you could go to dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
You know, that's a tough question. You know, you told me beforehand you were going to ask me this, and I did not think about it at all, and I really should have.
We can come back to it too.
Let's come back to it. I want to think about that for a minute.
Okay, so now that you're sliding and you're here, what are your dreams like within sliding? Like, are you at a point in your career where you're like, I'm coasting, life is really good? Or are you like, no, I need and I want to be at this certain level?
I would definitely say the latter. I definitely want to be at a level that I'm not at right now, but I want to be, more competitive in the sport, let's say. I just competed in Nations Cup, and I want to more consistently be not competing in Nations Cup, I think, is the first goal I have right now.
I love that. Well, very cool. Okay, and did anyone come to mind for you? I guess we could start. Okay.
I'm going to go with Henry Cavill. He played The Witcher. He's a huge nerd in apparently as an actor, which I love. So it'd be cool to poke his brain a little bit.
Fascinating. So you're like an intellectual. Like, you are nerd, so smart, know so many things.
I don't know.
But you're sliding. I mean, there's a lot of smart people that are sliding too. I just love how two worlds combine into, and now you're here in Winterberg trying to win a medal this weekend. Where did this start to become to get into all that?
I mean, they rope you into luge when you're young, which is where it started. I did one of the White Castle slide researches that USA Luge had, and that's how I was recruited, and started when I was 11, I want to say. And fell in love with the sport from there, and slowly started doing it more and more, and competing and moving up in the ranks and all that. And before you know it, I'm 25 in Winterberg, Germany, competing in my fifth or sixth year at the senior World Cup circuit. Been to the Olympics, and every now and then you look back and you're like, I don't know how I got here.
Truly incredible. And I feel like that's so many stories with a lot of athletes, is everyone gets into the sport a different way, and then everybody is so unique. It's not like everyone came from the same town. And so this is why I love doing Athlete of the Week, because you learn. I didn't realize that you were so into like fantasy and reading, and his dream is to have a house in the woods and put a library in there. I think that's so incredible. So anyways, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone watching back at home? Just anything.
We gotta go classic. Hi mom, hi dad, how you guys doing? To my D&D group, I'm very excited to be playing again when I come back, so can't wait for that.
Was that Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh, I have so much respect for you. Dungeons and Dragons is so rad. Anyways, congratulations on being on the circuit now for how many years, and an Olympian. Jonny Gustafson with Team USA, an incredible athlete. Come say hi to him if you ever see him at the